Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to match day number 5 of the SABULA Challenge Cricket T20 Cup happening here at Florida Cricket Oval. It's an affair between the Nsonga Royals and the Kitamba Sunrisers. But let's first have to see what happened during the toss.
Here in Kokonjeru, SABULA T20 Cricket Challenge, and it is match day number 5, game number 9, between the Sunrisers and the Royals, and we will toss. Heads is a call. Let me have a word with the standing captain for the Royals. You've won the toss. What are you going to do?
We are going to bat first.
Any changes to your team?
No, we don't have any changes.
Okay. Ahura, you lost the toss. What would you have done?
Yeah, I think I would have batted as well. The conditions look so good. Seeing the wicket is a good batting track. So,
Insights into your team.
still no changes. Still the same team that won the last game. So we are good to go.
And that is it from the middle. The Royals have won the toss and elected to bat.
That is the news that came from the center. The Nsonga Royals have won the toss and opted to bat first. It's match day number 5. Yesterday the morning game was abandoned because of the rain, but we had action happening in the afternoon. The Kachanga Giants, not being a lucky side, losing to the Katosi Strikers. The Katosi Strikers emerging victorious in that game by 69 runs. Well, my name is Evan Cyprian Sajabi here in the comms, and I am not alone. I have the man who was right at the toss. He has the beautiful story of what unfolded right there. No rains this morning. Good morning, Solomon, and welcome.
Good morning, Ivan. SABULA T20 Cricket Challenge 2026 proudly brought to you by Kingsley Children's Medical Center in Mukono Cricket Community, Deep End Sports Media, broadcast partners and streaming partners. This match obviously live on the Deep End YouTube channel. Also follow us on all the socials. Everything, of course, superintended by Cricket Uganda.
You can only tell a friend to subscribe to the Deep End Sports Media YouTube channel so that they never miss action. Turn on your notifications so that when there is an upcoming game, you can see it. A few highlights there as I take you through the lineups of both teams. The Nsonga Royals lineup: Edwin Nagaba, captain; Peru Zombie, Mahad Sechito, Abdul Shakul Doka, Davis Wanyama, Peter Ochen, Francis Ejok, Samuel Chinalwa, Mitali Ethan, Mutwalibu Mustafa, and Ivan Obed. The Kitamba Sunrisers being led by Amos Ahura, but they have Peter Kadu in their lineup, wicketkeeper batter; Robert Owili, another option of wicketkeeper batter; Abdul Aziz Tandia, leg spinner; Kenneth Ogenroad, pace bowler; Raymond Kagera, medium pace; Nadan Timothy Muahanguzi, right arm off spin; Ronnie Kato, Jovan Komagom, recently changed his trade. I knew him as a pace bowler, but I saw him bowl some space. Rahim Yusuf Gogo and Hamid Munyigwa, off spinner right there. Another interesting match on the cards here at Florida Cricket Oval. The two umpires are standing in the game. Elizabeth Nachibule alongside Reste Nalumansi, but right in your frame is the captain for the Nsonga Royals, Edwin Nagaba. He didn't go for the toss. He wanted to test the luck of Francis Ejok. The luck proved decisive as Ejok won the toss. But Edwin Nagaba opening the batting alongside Davis Wanyama. And Kenneth Ogenroth has the ball running in from the road end. Left alone and a dot ball to start off the innings.
The Royals coming off that 9-wicket win against the Giants to notch up their first win in this tournament. Played 2 so far, lost 1, won 1. And the Sunrisers coming off that 5-wicket win over the Warriors.
The most perfect team in the tournament thus far has been the Katosi Strikers. 3 out of 3 for them. They need to make sure that they keep that form, because always a bad beginning might make a good ending. So if you're too good, you have to remain too good in the tournament. But Edwin Nagaba at the back of a half century in the previous game that they played, captain, and he will be looking at making sure that he carries his bat through. But for Kenneth Ogenroth, there is a third man and a long on right at the boundary fences.
Edwin Nagaba coming in, number 1, not wanting to change anything from that victory that they had. In the first close, he came in number 3, but taking on the batting. Bat is yet to meet ball. Dot balls are plenty so far. Ogenroth right on the money.
Right on the money, 4 dot balls on trot. That one is from the middle of the bat. A sign of confidence. Even though Edwin Nagaba didn't manage to get a run off that ball, but he made sure that somehow it gets out of the middle of the bat. It would be a confidence booster for him, but it's already a good over. 5 dot balls on trot in the over. The Nsonga Royals yet to get off the mark, and Edwin Nagaba playing cautiously because he knows he would not wish to throw his wicket away cheaply. Swings hard, the bat gets out of his hands, but nowhere close, nowhere in the flame. You want to take him on the final ball, but in the end, the bat slides out of his fingers. A dot ball to mark the end of the over. Maiden over, and 9 for 9 is the score after the first.
Very good lines from Ogenroth, pinning Nagaba and going for all power. His equipment flying all over the place. The rain has played quite a very major role so far in the tournament. Reduced overs affairs, and they've really determined the approach of all the teams. But today we should have the full comport of all the overs.
Raymond Kagera with the second over. Pace off down the ground and right under the nose of Hamidu Munyigwa. They do take the run. First runs on board for the Nsonga Royals. We did speak about the rain. Yes, the sun coming out early today. No overcast conditions. It's a break day of cricket. We will be having some nice action happening here today. 2 matches on the cards on the day. Another interesting affair to come up later on in the afternoon at 2 p.m. And that affair will be between the Senyi Warriors and the Katosi Strikers, who are unbeaten in the tournament thus far. That is hit straight. Does it go all the way? No. Couple of bounces. But straight as an arrow for 4. Edwin Nagaba finally breaking the shackles to bring up a boundary.
Powerful hit. Get in line with the ball. Widith Onofa swings his arms through, picking up boundary 4.
Something that Edwin Nagaba tried in the first over, but he wasn't anywhere close. Longo on and longo off, dropped at the boundary. Abdul Aziz Tandia and Hamid Munyigwa ready to catch. Both of them standing a bit straight to make sure that they can cut off the balls. It was angling away from him, and he managed to throw his bat at it. Not too much control in the shot, but runs.
Slower ball on that occasion, but still wide. Kagera favoring width at the moment. A tight infield for him. Point, cover and extra cover. Mid-on comes on.
Leading edge. No control in the shot there by Davis Wanyama. And you see the changes in the field when Edwin Nagaba gets on strike. Long on and long off come up. Then you see third man and fine leg dropping. That's the edge. A bit angling in. And not too much control there from Davis Wanyama. But nonetheless, they take the run because there was no fielder near that slip area. Should be a wide. That one just drifting in. And Edwin Nagaba still showing that you could dispatch it to the onside. But in the end, it results into a wide. This is a much better over for the Nsonga Royals. They have already gotten 8 runs off it. And somehow you feel that the tight spell which was bowled by Kenneth Ogunwot in the first has not been copped and pasted by Raymond Kagera in the second.
Nwagaba will have to do the heavy lifting with the bat. Try and play as many overs as possible. Try to bat deep. As we have seen so far in the tournament, when he falls early, his team struggles.
Final ball of the over. A flick of the wrist from Edwin Nagaba, and it goes all the way for a maximum. Right on the pads. Use of the wrist clears deep mid wicket. And that one goes for a maximum. The replay there right in your frame. It was angling in and he just managed to play a bit of a glance shot with too much control. And that marks the end of the over. 14 off the second. And after 2 overs, the scoreboard reads 14 for no loss. At the back of a maiden over in his first, Kenneth Ogenroth will have to do the nitty-gritty work of curbing the damage as he comes back for his second. That one to the pads, but the umpire says maybe it was going down, and a dot ball for Kenneth Ogenroth to start off his second over.
The height was the issue for the umpire. Ball clearly rising well above the stumps. Ogenroth continues the good work from the first over.
The biggest issue for Davis Wanyama in the game has been that he's been trying to make sure that he forces the shots on the onside instead of maybe playing through the line. Fine leg. Third man at the boundary for Kenneth Ogenroth is bowling. See, that one just doesn't get to the bat very well. The overthrow costs them a run. Clearly that was needless. They try to find a way of getting a wicket, and in the end it's an overthrow and runs. The women's under 19 team for Cameroon is already in Uganda, as well as the under 19 team for Malawi. I know some bit of Chechewa, a language used in Malawi, so you never know. Maybe we'll get a chance of benefiting in a few lessons. But those two teams are here. They are part of the 5 teams that will be coming to Uganda to take part in the ICC Women's Under 19 Division 2 World Cup qualifiers that will happen at Entebbe Cricket Oval right here in Uganda.
Ivan, you'll be very comfortable communicating with the Malawians. Chichewa, among the Bantu languages, just minor variations.
When you look at those South African languages, when you read the history of South Africa, they have the tribes like the Ngoni, Bantu speaking languages, and when you hear some words in Seswana, Chechewa, all come out as though they are East African. They call a human being Omuntu as same as us here in the Bantu region of East Africa. But it will be an exciting affair to see that the women has come out and play. Of course, the Division 2, the Under 19 World Cup for the women was put in place by ICC in 2020, around the post-COVID time, when they played the first qualifier in 2021, and the World Cup was in 2022 in South Africa. So it's been really good to see that women's cricket can also grow. They have played only 2 World Cups, one in South Africa, another one in Malaysia. And this one will be the 3rd. Uganda still looking for a way of getting a mark. We just hope that they do. Pays off on that delivery and just played straight to mid off for a single. Kenneth Ogenroth wraps up the over. After 2 overs, the scoreboard reads 16 for no loss. Raymond Kagera a bit expressive in his first over. He gave away 14 runs, but now he returns with his second. Edwin Nagaba playing that one over the square leg area. There is no fielder, it's a vacant area. There was not too much power in the shot, but the ball ran all the way to the boundary.
Kagera persisting with that line to the leg, and Nwagaba swinging through to pick up another boundary. Talking of ICC events, that encounter yesterday between England and India, one for the ages.
One for the edges, but there was nothing for the bowlers. Clearly, it was a batting track. And you look at the way the ball was flying around the Wankede Oval. Clearly, the bowlers had nothing much to say. A score of 253 versus a score of 246. England falling short by just 7 runs. And India will face New Zealand. That final, which will happen on Sunday. An interesting tournament also coming to an end. The final will be played in Ahmedabad. Not sure if I do pronounce it well, but it's a place found in India.
I told you that the England boys that don't mind what you put up. They will try and chase, but coming short by 7 runs. A brilliant effort from Jacob Betho. Man now having centuries across all formats of the game, but without any domestic century.
Maybe the man was meant for the big stage. 105 of 48 before that ran out by Hardik Pandya and Sanju Samson that saw Jacob Betho off. But what a show yesterday. The balls were flying all over.
Hardik Pandya, a very big moment player. He might not make so many runs, but when he gets the ball, or when he's out in the field, man meant for the big moments, just like Virat Kohli.
Hardik Pandya is the captain. He is the captain for the Mumbai Indians, and the game was being played at his home turf. But Hardik Pandya has a fighter in him. Every time he comes to the pitch, he will make sure that he puts up a fight. He has a brother, forgetting his name, but he plays for the Gujarati Titans. Krunal Pandya was also under a few caps with India, but Hardik Pandya coming back to the setup playing white ball. And he's really been a man, but that's it up in the air by Davis Wanyama. And Abdul Aziz Tandia will not struggle taking that catch. Wanyama's innings come to an end as he falls full and wide. He went hard to swing through the line. Not too much connection and control. That's a replay there. Full and wide. Davis Wanyama, if he had opened this blade play, maybe a cut shot. Because those are the balls to punish. They are not anywhere close to your wickets. He closes up his blade and just manages to play it to a waiting mid-off. In Abdul Aziz Tandia, catch is taken and the Nsonga Royals lose their first wicket after 3.5 overs as the scoreboard reads 23-1.
Ivan, as we've seen throughout the tournament, a score, the 3-figure score, is quite a good one. So Nwagaba will have to keep in, try to edge closer and closer to that mark. And as the stats show, teams batting first usually end up victors on this ground, not only in this tournament but on this ground.
I may not disagree, but the teams who bat first have to come back and bowl well for them to pick up victory. But indeed, Edwin Nagaba, as you did say, he will have to make sure that he puts runs on board so that they can come out and challenge. Mahad Sekito at the back of a player of match performance. It came off his bowling display. Now makes his way to the crease. Left-handed batter. And now it will be the left-right combination in for the Nsonga Royals. Final ball of the over. A hanging blade from Mahad Sekito doesn't just get anywhere close to the ball. End of the over. After 4, the scoreboard reads 23 for a loss of 1 wicket. This is match day number 5 of the SABULA Cricket Challenge T20 tournament happening here at Florida Cricket Oval. Tomorrow the tournament will take a break. Tomorrow and Sunday. And the action will resume on Monday. You look at the fixtures for Monday. The Chindi Blasters will take on the Kachanga Giants in the morning, and the Kitamba Sunrisers, who are right here in action, will return against the Katosi Strikers. Kenneth Ogenroth, who's been having very good bowling figures, a maiden in his spell, just runs given away in 2, returns with the ball. Starts with one angling in for Edwin Nagaba. But Edwin Nagaba will be happy and know that he is lucky that that ball didn't just continue to roll onto his wicket.
I can understand the thinking from Ahura, the captain of the Sunrisers, despite picking up some runs, but clearly Ogen has been winning this battle between himself and Nwagaba. So, and that's the prized wicket that the Sunrisers want to get. So it is prudent to bowl Ogen throughout.
Yeah, Ogen and Nwagaba, players in the same domestic club, Mukono Development Cricket Club, they know each other quite well. And that sets up a very interesting battle between them. When Edwin was facing in the first over, it was a maiden over. And now already 2 dot balls in this over. Even though Raymond Kagere has been leaking many on his end, at least Ogen has been trying to make sure that he tightens the screws from this other end, not giving anything away to Edwin Nagaba. Edwin Nagaba looking very composed in the game, 17 of 18. He will need to make sure that he plays that wonderful knock to carry his team through. Good variations there being bowled by Kenneth Ogenroth. He angles some in and swings others away. With that swinging away, nowhere close to Edwin Nagaba, and another dot ball in the over.
Nwagaba favors that cut shot, so point is ready waiting, a very wide gully. Third man, cover is in. The battle between coach and player continues.
Right into the block hole. And another dot ball for Kenneth Ogenroth, the fourth one in the over. And I think the cautious approach for Edwin Nagaba is not to throw away his wicket to his trainee. And he knows that if he loses his wicket, his team may struggle to get to a formidable total. So he's just making sure that he takes his time. And let's play out Kenneth. Then you wait for the other bowlers and take them on.
Right on the money, Ivan. That is the prized wicket. I love the way he's playing, respecting the balls. Oftentimes you see batters come out and it is swing for the heavens, but playing each ball on merit.
Power without control is disastrous. So he'll need to play everything on merit. Final ball of the over from Kenneth. He'll have to bowl that one again. He goes down the leg. He wanted to go for a slower, poorly executed, and in the end it turns to be a wide delivery there from Kenneth Ogenroth.
Ivan, if you could read my mind, I was already giving him flowers that he has bowled metronomically. Same area, and as often happens when they try something new, can't execute well. But just that another Lego delivery to bring us to the close of this 5th over.
It's pulled away and pulled into the gap. Peter Kadu with the chase. Just chips in the dive in quick time. Chance for Edwin Nagaba to pick up the third. And they'll take 3 runs off that final ball. Well, that marks the end of the 5th. That's a replay there. The ball was angling into Edwin Nagaba. He went for a pull shot, putting it into the gap. And very evil there from Peter Kadu. He's a wicketkeeper option, but not being used by the with the gloves in this game. Cuts that one off. And after 5, the scoreboard reads 27 for a loss of 1.
Another person who will be happy with that effort from Kadu will be the man who played that ball, because that is what he expressed from him, effort in everything. He will be shaking his head in silent approval, despite the young man denying him another extra run.
When you give it your all, you make the maximum out of life. There is a bowling change for the Kitamba Sunrisers as Hamidu Munigwa. Hamidu Munigwa also at the back of a player of match display in this game. He will now get the ball, replacing Raymond Kagera, and now we see spin in this final over of the power play. Off spin for Hamid. Cow corner, long on, right at the boundary. Left arm round for Hamidu Munigwa. Just making sure that he angles the balls in.
Extra bounce on that first ball, rising on Nwagaba, beating him, and also the wicket keeper picking up a bye.
Five more deliveries to complete the power play. Control in that shot. There is interest in that run out, but not given by the umpire. Nwagaba Edwin just arriving in time before Robert Owili could wipe off the bails.
You snooze, you lose. Nwagaba too quick for the man at Gully.
Much better line there from Hamidu Munigwa, not giving Edwin Nwagaba room and just making sure that he forces him to play use of the wrist. but no run is taken. Edwin Nagaba wanted to touch and go, but did not have prior communication with his partner. The run is turned down, and another dot ball for Hamid in the over. Backward of the square, fumbled by the fielder, and they run through for the second run.
The Sunrisers cannot be generous in their fielding, as Nagaba is quite quick-footed. Will turn that single into a double. Just one ball to complete this over. Going hard at that cut. Picking up one, bringing us to the close of the 6th over. The Royals have 32 runs on the board for the loss of 1 wicket. Munigua's first over going for 5. Edwin evenly poised with 24 in 27, and Sachito just 1 in 2 balls.
That's the replay of the wicket. The wicket of Davis Wanyama that fell in the game. Catch taken by Abdulaziz Tandia. There was a record-breaking moment for LeBron King James. 15,088 field goals made in regular season. The most goals made in history by a player, but his side, the Los Angeles Lakers, falling short by 7 points to the Denver Nuggets. Interesting match that happened in the NBA. Before we get to that conversation, there is a bowling change as we come to the end of the power play. Scoreboard reading 32 for 1, and Abdul Aziz Tandia will now come to bowl. He's a leg spinner, but he has some flat darts. The 3-game winning streak of the Lakers being put to an end today in the morning.
Nagaba not waiting to not very good news to wake up to Ivan in the league, but the king being the king, setting new records that most pundits agree will be very difficult to break. Of course, playing well into his 41st year, the oldest player in the league so far, had that moment of playing with his son. Very many few will replicate that. So, but records are made to be broken, as we all know.
There was an interesting conversation if he will be available next season to play for the Lakers or he will go into retirement. But clearly, when you look at the way LeBron James runs on court, he looks to be a very fit man. He looks to be a man who can push on for some time.
I think he still has about 2 or 3 seasons within him, but he has said that it will be up to him when he does call a time on his legendary career. In cricket terms, on the local scene, we had the legendary Frank Subuga playing all the way from his teens up to his 40s and still at the highest level, which is the most important thing.
Most of those players who play for so long have good sports discipline. Speaking about Frank Subuga, a man you will never find in the bar. A man who just drinks water and takes rest. He knows when to exercise. He knows when to have enough rest. Clearly, it tells you why he pushes on, and he managed to push on for so long. But Abdulaziz Tandia's first over has gone for only 3, and at the end of the 7th, 35 for 1 is what the scoreboard reads. Hamidu Munigwa back with the ball. 26 of 30 for Edwin Nagaba and 2 of 5 for Mahadi Sechito. Extra cover. Longo on, longo off. And Kao corner at the boundary for Edwin Nagaba. Edwin Nagaba swings. The umpire says that could have gone and hit the stumps. He swung for the heavens, going across the lane. Maybe the ball could have continued and hit the stumps. Unhappy, but he'll have to show his back.
Another look at that. Yes, the ball well within the lines, and Nagaba trying to go for all money. Ball hitting the back leg, and he perishes.
I think that ball held a bit on the surface. That's why the swing from Edwin Nagaba didn't see him make any meaningful connection. He swung early, and by the time the ball came, he was already through his action. He swapped LBW, and the Nsonga Royals lose their second wicket. He might walk off unhappy, but clearly that could have gone and hit the stumps. Proper call from the umpire.
He doesn't have the benefit of the umpire's view, neither does he have the benefit of us and the replays. But of course, if he watches back on the live stream on YouTube, he will say the umpire was right on the money.
Edwin Nagaba departs 35 for 2 after 7.1. When they took Raymond Kagara out of the bowling attack, somehow it's been struggles, but that's the man there, the captain for the Nsonga Royals, Edwin Nagaba, making the long walk back to the hut. And his replacement in Doka Abdul Shakur is already right at the crease. Doka Abdul Shakur, wicket-keeper batter, being set in at number 4 to make sure that he carries the team forward. That beats him completely. It was drifting away from him. Good thinking there from Hamidu Munigwa. When you look at his figures, they look so fine. 5 for 1 after 1.3. Misses his lane, and it will be a wide.
Great glove work from Robert Owiri behind the stumps. The pitch offering variable bounce, some staying low and some getting to grip. Oh,
A dive, a half-hearted dive there, chipped in at covers. Quite not getting hold on that opportunity, but happy that he saved it. But look at that one there. He tried to create room to play it. That effort there to cut off the run deserved any applause that he did receive from the bowler.
an almost Kodak moment in this encounter between the Royals and the Sunrisers.
Good variations there being bowled by Hamidu Munigwa. Gets others drifting away from Doka. It's driven down the ground straight to the fielder. They will take the run, but that will not hurt them. The Kitamba Sunrisers, because they have found a way of drawing up the boundaries, they're just making sure that they keep bowling the good areas to make sure that they limit the Nsonga Royals to a portrait total so that they can come out and chase it down. Making the ball for him, and it results into a dot ball. That dot ball marks the end to the over. Just 2 runs off Hamidu's second over, plus a wicket falling in that over of the very first ball. A very big wicket, the wicket of Edwin Nagaba. And as we come to the end of the 8th over, the scoreboard reads 37 for a loss of 2 wickets.
Another brilliant shot of the Florida Cricket Oval down here in Kokonjeru, the staging venue for the SABULA T20 Cricket Challenge 2026, proudly brought to you by Kingsley Children's Medical Center, Mukono Cricket Community, Deep End Sports Media, the broadcast and streaming partners, of course overseen by Cricket Uganda.
3 off his first as Aziz returns. Abdul Aziz Tandia returns with a dot ball to bowl his second over. 37 for 2 after 8.1 runs not coming for the Nsonga Royals. The decision to bat first might quickly backfire because they have not gotten off to a flyer. At least at this moment they could have been close to the 50 runs mark. That would mean that maybe they can go on and get some more runs so that they get themselves something defendable. Comes round for the left-handed batter, but Mahadi Sekito good with the whip. Sends it to the deep. Chance for taking 2 runs. There was some sloppiness at the boundary in that deep mid-wicket area, giving an opportunity to the Nsonga Royals to pick up the second run and bringing up 40 runs for the team total.
Abdul Shakul Doka, quick fleeted between the wickets. Good calling and good running, missed by the man.
And I think it's good for them to realize that as the boundaries are not coming their way, they will have to run a lot between the wickets to make sure that they can pile up as many runs as possible. Because clearly runs are not coming easy and quick. Tries to go for a slog sweep. Not too much connection from the blade of Doka Abdul Shakul. But those are his innovative shots. See him play many of them because he knows he will have to get his side to a solid total. Round for the left-hander. Final ball of the over, dirty ball. And after 9, scoreboard reads 42 for a loss of 2 wickets.
Another look at the wickets. Skyer to the man at mid-off. Plumb LBW. Nagaba Edwin Monigwa, the bowler. The 2 wickets falling for the Nsonga Royals. Sunrisers, the form team, played 2-1-2, but a bowling change from the first end. London Mohanguzi Timothy entrusted with the ball. Long off, long on, cow corner.
Mohanguzi starts with a full one, and Doka Abdul Shakul hits it with power. He hits it well enough to make sure that he brings up the boundary. Welcoming boundary in the context of the game. They needed runs, and Doka Abdul Shakul makes sure that he sends one to the fences.
Driven powerfully, and the man can only chase, but all in vain. A full ball from Mohanguzi.
And not a very good ball for him to bowl. He bowls it even wider from Doka.
Some pointers from Munigwa to Mohanguzi. The advice yet to register as it goes way beyond the tram lines again.
They needed an over to punish, and looks like this is the over. Just making sure that they put some pressure to the bowler. The glove work there not so good. And the more runs for the Nsonga Royals. Will those two wides bring up 50 runs for the Royals?
That extras column being busy. But Ivan, it is not a skill issue for Muhanguzi. It is more of a confidence issue. That first boundary obviously affecting him, but when you still have balls to come in the over, you cannot feel sorry for yourself and try varieties. Always stick to a plan that you've devised. They pick up run one on the third ball of this over.
Ten off the over already. One more ball to play in the over. All the fielders are inside the arc for Mahadi Sechito. Dot ball nearly farmed by the captain, but they don't take the run. And that marks the end of the over. 10 off London is first over. And at the halfway mark, after 10 overs, the scoreboard reads 52 for a loss of 2 wickets. Our photographer there right in your frame. But you see the sponsors, Kingsley and Mukono Cricket Community, earning some bit of mileage.
As we requested, don't forget to follow us on all our socials. Mukono Cricket Community, Cricket Uganda, Deep End Sports Media. Pictures and videos of the live action will be found there. Comment, share and like.
Hit there to extra cover. Raymond Kagera with a very sharp throw to cut off the second run.
Jovan Komagum, the bowling change from the Ginger Road end.
He changed to spin a few days ago, and he's shown that he can bowl well. Mahal Sechito there still struggling to get that out of the block hole. Wide.
That's the line that he should be bowling, drawing the man forward with nothing on offer. Another precious dot ball in the session of the game where The Royals need to be putting pedal to the metal. An opportunity not taken at mid-off, picking up one, Sachito. One ball to complete this over. The call from Muniga was two. Sorry, from Abdul Shakul Doka was two. Fielded in by Muniga, and Sakito not making his ground in time. Another wicket falls for the Royals.
They want to take on the hand of the fielder who was right in the deep, but in the end it resulted into the dismissal of Mahad Sekito. Run out is completed and the Nsonga Royals lose their third wicket. Peru Zombie now makes his way to the crease. Not sure why Peru Zombie is coming a bit late. Peru Zombie is an opening batter, but he's been changing his areas.
The strategy is to stagger the accomplished batters, spread them right through the team so that you do not find that the tail is long. So Wazombe coming in at this moment is understandable, with Nwagaba choosing to open the batting. They pick up two on that one. Good running in between the wickets, playing those balls to the fielders, but still managing to pick up doubles. The glorious sound of bats on ball for a drive. I think that's one of the most beautiful shots in cricket, and that's why you find all these people learning it fast. No ball adjudged from Muhanguzi, struggling to grip that ball. Free hit indicated by umpire Rustin Alumansi.
Chance for Peru Zombie to take the legging to the bowling of Lada Timothy Mwanguzi. Hit out of the block hole, but just straight to the fielder at long on for just a single. Final ball of the over from London Timothy Mwanguzi. You'll have to bowl it again, as wide is the call from the umpire. still looking to fight their hitting range. But for now, it will be the running between the wickets to take over the show. End of the over. 68 for 3 is now the score after 12 overs. Jovan Komagom returns with the ball to bowl the 13th over. Deep square leg, cow corner, long on, long off, and extra cover at the boundary. Some interest there from Jovan Komagom, but the umpire clearly saw that that one was going down the leg. Peru Zombie trying to show that he can swing hard at it. There is a chance to catch, but it may not be taken as that ball lands safe. And they run quickly for the second one. The intent from Peru Zombie has been clear. He's been looking at making sure that he hits the ball around. He's coming a bit late. Maybe he's come to make sure that he capitalizes at the back end of the innings. But Jovan Komagom also being equal to the challenge, making sure that he bowls some quick dotty balls. Shimmy down the track, that is hit straight. Work to do for the fielders. Hamid with the throw, cutting that one off to just a single run.
The intent is clear from Wazombe. Hit out of the park. Short ball from Komagum. Slow.
Could have resulted into a run out on another day. But that direct hit from Kenneth Ogenroth just missing the stumps. Final ball of Giovanni's second over. He bowls it wide down the leg, and another extra to the total. He will have to bowl that one again. Dot ball, end of the over. He looks to be uncomfortable there, Doka Abdushakur. But at the end of the 13th, the scoreboard reads 74 for a loss of 3.
Hamid Muniga returns to the bowling from the first end. Wazombe having the first look in. Lines that one up all the way into the forest towards the scoreboard. Over deep mid wicket.
What a way to welcome Hamidu Munyigwa back into the bowling attack. Peru Zombie showing some power. That was to the feet of Peru Zombie, and Peru Zombie has power, hits it all the way to the forest. Work for some stewards to do, try and make sure that they can look and retrieve the ball. And what a way to welcome Hamidu back into the attack. He's already under pressure. First ball going for a maximum, long way out of the park, and he will need to make sure that he adjusts his bowling lines so that he doesn't go for so many.
The danger around the cricket oval here at Florida is surrounded by a forest. So when you get punished, might result in lost balls. Stewards doing their job. A brief pause in the game. Sunrisers, the form team, losing the toss on this occasion, asked to bowl first by the Royals. Score is 74 for the loss of 3. "13 overs done and dusted." That run rate has fluctuated between 5 and 6. Ivan?
And somehow with Peru Zombie still in there, maybe he will be looking at making sure that it goes close to 9 or 10. 80 for 3. Hit up in there. Catch is the call. Amos Ahura completes that one, running in from Longo on, and the Peru Zombie falls into Hamidu Munyigwa's trap.
What a way to bounce back. Balls it wider this time round. Wazombe only managing a skyer. Ahura making no mistake. Coming in, catching it at mid-on to dismiss Wazombe. 80 for the loss of 4 for the Nsonga Royals. Plenty of cricket action coming out to you over this weekend in the Cricket Uganda 50 Men's Over League at the various grounds. Ginger, Florida as well will be hosting a team over the weekend. Though it will be rest day for the SABULA T20 Cricket Challenge here at Florida.
Peter Ochen is the new man in. Manages to work that one to long on, and he gets off the mark. To make sure that he keeps the scoreboard ticking here for the Sunrisers. Two fielders, half-hearted efforts, and the run is taken. Nice placement there from Doka Abdushakur. Just making sure that he splits the fielders. Longo off goes down for Peter Ochen. Hamidu Munyigwa there with the dot ball, and that marks the end of the over. Scoreboard states that after 14 overs, the score is 82 for a loss of 4 wickets. Abdul Aziz Tandia back with the ball in his hands. Doka sweeps that one for just a single. to make sure that the runs don't stop coming in for the Nsonga Royals. Hit over the head of the fielder, but it will land safe. A fine lofted shot there from Peter Ochen, but he gets elevation and not distance.
Tandia bowling that under his nose, so he's unable to fully put it away. A man with long levers.
Hamidu Munjugwa went and bowled inside the power play, and he's been brought back towards the back end. I think the plan for them, because the captain for the Nsonga Royals made changes, delaying to bring in Peru Zombie and Peter Ochen. He also made sure that his prime bowlers in Abdul Aziz Tandia and Hamidu Munjugwa keep some few overs. Leading edge, chance for a catch. Guilty that he didn't take the catch. The direct hit is as well missed. A comedy of errors. Dr. Abdul Shakul and Peter Ochen on different networks.
Another look at that. Doku unable to put that ball away. Kaya Tandia making all the effort to catch him, unable to, but Doku continuously busy trying to pick up a run off that, but which was not there. Firm call of no from Ochen serves the day.
Doka had to run back to his crease, and he will be happy that the direct hit from Owili was missed. 84 for 4 after 15, as Giovanni Komagom changes bowling ends, and he will be bowling from the first end. Driven down the ground there by Peter Ochen. Don't know why there are so many hesitation in the calls between Doka and Peter Ochen. We might see a run out if these two are not cautious with their calls.
Indeed, Ivan. Their minds seem to be scrambled, but need to get back quickly on board. Missed opportunity by Komagum. Comfortable too this time round. Ochen blessing the ball just beyond the inner ring. Men having to come in from the boundary. Chen picks another single, trying to hit that ball out of the park, but with his head falling away, unable to do so. Tighty over from Komagum so far.
Driven down the ground by Peter Ochen, and it will only be a single to mark the end of the over. After 16 overs, 91 for 4 is the score.
The sun and the clouds seem to be in a contest as well over the Florida cricket over down here in Kokonjeru. The clouds winning at the moment. Weather turning to overcasts while we started with the brilliant sunshine. Abdul Aziz Tandia continues for his final over. Ball deftly placed just wide of long on, and he picks up a boundary 4. If he continues to go at this rate, the Royals should be able to cross the 3-figure mark, having won the toss and elected to bat in this encounter.
That shot there from Peter Ochen. Too much control in the shot, but Peter Ochen is a bit tall in terms of height. So, because of his stature, every time you bowl a good length, he always makes sure that he receives it full. They know each other with Abdulaziz Tandia. Both of them have played for Uganda under 19 during that recent qualifier. And in the end, Peter Ochen starts off the over with the boundary, but good amendments there from Aziz. Power from Peter Ochen. Straight to the fielder. Long off with work to do, and cuts off that one to just 1 run.
Classic off drive from the young man. The ball right within his slot. Opts for the ground route.
Not a good time to be leaving balls. It's a time to maximize Badoka Abdul Shakur on the back foot and leaving many. Another dirty ball. Back for Abdul Aziz Tandia. He's gotten the ball drift away from Doka. Doka is so good on the onside. So if you can just make sure that you bowl to the off, you don't give him chance to score. Flighted. Covers with work to do and cuts that one off to a dot ball. The over started with a boundary. 5 in the over. And after 17, the score is 96 for a loss of 4 wickets.
Abdul Aziz Tandia completing his allotted 4, going for 15 but picking up no wicket. A good economy for the young man. Just over 3.7. Good figures for the captain, restricting the Royals. Jovan Komagum will also complete his allotted, coming from the Forest end. 17 so far he has conceded in the 3 overs.
Peter Ochen plays that one down the ground, and they push through for the second run. Kenneth Ogenroth and Raymond Kagera, and he decided on who throws the ball. He goes for the booming drive and misses. Wicket time. Giovanni Komagom hits the timber, and Peter Ochen will have to make the long walk.
Komagom working his magic. Ball there to be hit. Feet not moving to the line of the ball from Ochen. Head falling over and completely misses it.
Yeah, when you look where he stepped when he was going to play that shot, very far away from the ball. It wasn't a very good technique. And Giovanni Komagom hits the woodwork. Peter Ochen falls. after 17.2 overs, the scoreboard has 98 for a loss of 5 runs. In his final over, Jovan Komagom picking up his first wicket. Hopefully, he can maybe pick another one to make sure that he ends his spell with very fine figures. But Mtwalibu Mustafa is the new batter in. That's proper cricket shot, but not so much needed. This is the time of see ball, hit ball, to make sure that you milk as many as you can. He's a bowler, so he will have to make sure that he comes back to ball across the line completely. Not a very good idea.
Nowhere near the ball, playing through the shot before the ball could even come.
He gets ball to bat and it is fumbled by the bowler. Guilt all over the face of Jovan Komagom. He clearly had that one in his hands. He had a chance of cutting off the run. In the end, the run is taken. Final ball of the 18th over. Hit by Doka Abdul Shakul to bring up that single. 4 runs in Jovan Komagom's final over. And that single brings up 100 runs at the end of the 18th over. Score is 100 for 5 after 18 overs.
Fighting display from the Nsonga Royals, breaching that 100 run mark. Doka Abdul Shakul still out there at the crease, 21 in 30, being joined by Mutwalib, 1 in 3. Jovan Komagum completes his overs, picking up 1 wicket for 21 runs.
That one beat him for all money. Waiting for the decision from the umpires. But the umpire gets the ball in her arms momentarily. Maybe could have the benefit of that replay. And Doka Abdul Shakul is already making the long walk back. That just wiped off the bells. And Doka will have to depart. But that's the replay there right in your frame. Cannot see it from this angle, but that was clean bowled. The ball went to the hands of the wicket keeper. Badoka clearly missing that one. There, 1 bail off, and another one goes for the Nsonga Royals.
The best way that you can bowl somebody out, bails off, leaving Doka stand. Munigwa means business in his final over. A man not very far from the performance charts, both with bat and ball.
A proper all-rounder he is, Hamid Munigwa. But Adoka had a cameo. He somehow got some runs for the side, but you'll have to get back. Close angle of the replay. Just 1 bail going off. Clearly there from that angle. Doka Abdul Shakul were close to that ball. He heard the sound and knew it was time for him to make the walk. But Francis Ejok, left-handed batter, is the new man in. He was the man at the toss. He won it for the side and said they should bat first. And now all they need are runs. Fence the score at 100 for 6 after 18.2. Stepping away from the line of the ball. But he will get off the mark.
The Sunrisers trying to wrap up this. Oh yes. Words right out of my mouth. Bowling wicket to wicket. Munigwa picks up another wicket. Mutwalib having to depart, having scored a pedestrian one so far. 8 wickets down so far for the Nsonga Royals. Quick Yorker in, steps away to create room, and is clean bowled by Munigwa. On a 4 so far.
Four wickets so far for Hamidu Munigwa. Fine figures for him. 16 for 4 after his 3.4 overs. Maybe today will be the first day that we see a fifer in this tournament. Yesterday we saw 2 4-fers. One by Kasim Adam and another one by Stephen Otieno. New man in Samuel Chinalwa for the Nsonga Royals. 101 for 7. He goes to drive but doesn't get anywhere close to the ball, and it's a dot ball. Just one ball for Hamidu Munigwa to complete his spell. Down the ground, and Samuel Chinalwa takes the run. Fine last over from Hamidu Munigwa, just 2 runs in the over so far. One more ball to play. That was going down, and it should be a dot ball. That marks the end of the 19th over. Scoreboard reads 102 for a loss of 7 after 19.
Very brilliant figures for Hamid Munigwa, picking up 4 wickets for and conceding only 17 runs. An economy of just above 4. As we have another look at that final ball of that over from Munigwa. Great stuff. The sun coming out for the final over of this first innings. Nsonga Royals winning the toss and choosing to bat first.
19 overs gone. Scoreboard at 102 for a loss of 7 wickets. And now we are into the final over. The last 6 balls of this innings. Kenneth Ogenroth with the ball. He starts with a wide. Just bowling on the money. Kenneth bowled his first part of the spell from the road end, but now he's changed and he looks to be struggling with his line. Back-to-back wides for him to start off the over. He now changes and he will be coming right arm round for the left-handed batter. Nowhere close to that ball. Francis a joke. I think the idea for Francis a joke, because the ball is outside off stump, just keep a low stance and make sure that you just guide it with the bat.
Oftentimes they opt for power instead of precision. Plenty of spaces both on the on and offside. Crouching low in his stance, but nowhere near the pitch of the ball.
And he's kept trying to make sure that he forces the ball to the onside instead of just driving through the line.
Exactly.
It's been a good ending for the Kitamba Sunrisers. They've made sure that they make amendments and they pile more pressure on at the back end of the innings. Pace off, and this time round a joke manages to connect and just plays it to the mid wicket for a single.
He was waiting for it, as it is quite obvious from the bowling stance of Ogenroth. He will need to devise better ways of bowling that slower ball without any change in his.
Every time he comes for a slower, everyone around the ground could quickly know that Ogen will bring in a slower. Off the hip, but no runs for Samuel Chinalwa. One more ball to complete the batting innings of the Nsonga Royals. Swing and a miss, and a dot ball to wrap up things here at the Florida Cricket Oval. This is match day number 5 of the SABULA Cricket Challenge T20 happening here at Florida Cricket Oval. Tournament sponsored by Deep End Sports Media, Kingsley, Children is Home, Mokono Cricket Community and Cricket Uganda. The Nsonga Royals have won the toss and opted to bat first against the Kitamba Sunrisers. And they've managed to post a total of 106 for 7 in 20 overs, meaning 107 from 120 balls will be needed for victory. Some of the highlights there as I take you through the match summary. Edwin Nagaba opened the batting and scored 26 of 31. In the middle, Abdul Shakur managed to score 21 of 31, whereas Peru Zombie and Peter Ochen made a late shift, 15 and 14 respectively. 16 extras given away by the Kitamba Sunrisers, but in their bowling display was Hamidu Munyugwa, bowling 4 overs, picked up 4 wickets, conceded 17 runs at an economy of 4.25. 1 wicket apiece for Raymond Kagara and Jovan Komagom as we come to the end of the first innings. 107 runs are needed from 120 balls for the Kitamba Sunrisers to pick up victory this morning here at Florida Oval. We take a short break and we will be back with the second innings.
A look at the highlights of the first innings in this encounter between the Nsonga Royals and the Sunrisers. The Royals winning the toss and choosing to bat first, posting 106 runs. The umpires and teams are out for the start of the second innings. The Sunrisers, the form team, played 2, won 2, and will look to notch up another victory to propel them further up the table. This is the SABULA T20 Cricket Challenge 2026. Peru Zombie has the ball, and we will ball off from the Ginger Road end. Hamid Munigwa, the man at the other end. Perry right on the money from the word go. With this match evenly poised. Wasting no time is Perry Wazombe picking up a wicket with his second ball of the first over of the second innings. The man who has been in form, Hamid Munigwa, having a taste of his own medicine, but he will have to depart without troubling the scorers. One wicket down with no runs on board for the Sunrisers. A slight change in the weather here at Florida Cricket Oval. The clouds are back, and this will quite certainly play into the hands, as the DLS will be in use if we are not to have a full match. First ball right in the block hole for Munigwa, as we had a look at the highlights. Abdul Shakul Doka directing traffic. Robert Owidi, the new man in. Beautiful lines from Peru Zombie. One more ball to complete the first over of the second innings. And Wazombe starts with a maiden wicket. No runs on board for the Sunrisers. 1 wicket down of Hamid Munigwa back in the hat. The asking rate for the Sunrisers creeping beyond 5.4 at the moment. But we will have Mahat Sachito with the ball. As we have seen throughout the tournament, spin playing a major role. Sakido on the money. Pushes at that one, Muhanguzi. But Sachito bowling, leaving him no room at all to free his arms. And another dot ball. Short covers and short mid-wicket. But finally releasing the shackles, Muhanguzi, for the first runs for the Sunrisers. Sachito will look to complete this over with this ball. And another good over from the Royals. 1 run coming off that over. Score is 1 run for the loss of 1 wicket. Evenly matched. A dismal scoring rate of 0.5 so far. Third over of the power play. Another look at the call comes out, but the ball missed by the batter and the man out at long on, put there for that specific reason, keeps it at 1. Wazombe bowling quickly, giving the batters no time to settle in. Right on the money in the block hole from Wazombe. He feints that one to see what Owiri is trying to do. Lots of power on display. No returns at all. Run out opportunity. And that marks the end of the third over. 2 runs for the loss of 1 wicket for the Sunrisers. Sachito Mahad will continue from the forest end for his second over. And you will feel that the Royals have the measure of the Sunrisers. It will be a big scalp for them if they are to manage to restrict them. Shako's broken with that one as Muhanguzi picks up one. No runs on offer. And finally, Owini Roberts plays a shot in anger to come up with the first maximum of this innings. Ball right in the slot over cow corner. Adjustments to the field. Cow corner and a wideish long on for Sachito. Just the final ball to complete this, and that ball brings us to the end of the fourth over. The score for the Sunrisers is 10-1. London Muhanguzi Timothy 3-10. Robert Owiri 7-12. Eight runs coming off that Mahad Sachito over. And Ivan Cyprian Sajabi makes a return in the comms box.
Happy to be back in the comms. Peru Zombie returns for his third. And that's it down the ground. Fumbled by Mutwalib Mustafa. Chance for 2 runs. A bit caution there from Mutwalib. And in the end, the good running between Robert Owili and London Timothy Mwangus gives them 2 runs. A bit of a drizzle in the previous 2 overs. So these 2 batters will know that they will have to chase as urgently as possible to make sure that they pick a result into this game. But the sun is back. Meanwhile, Peru Zombie 3-for-1 after 2.1 overs. Fine figures. Flighted and hit. Does it go all the way? Yes. Over pitched up there by Peru Zombie, and that goes for a boundary.
Because it's in the power play, there has to be a choice between either putting the man at cow corner and the either long on or long off, all having too long, the long on and long off. Changing the field with long off now in play. Cow corner brought back inside the circle.
This time round, it will be just a single. Owili again. He's showing some muscles here because he knows that they will need this win to make sure that they remain in the contention of this game. 14 of 16 for Owili. And Lana Timothy Mwanguzi is still on 3 of 11. First game on match day number 5 here at Florida Cricket Oval in the SABULA Cricket T20 Challenge Cup. This time round he plays it to the longer off for just a single, and that single will put the over to bed. 8 runs in the over, and after 5 the score is 18 for 1.
The Sunrisers rising to the challenge in the past 2 overs, with that run rate climbing to 3.6. At one point, Ivan, it was at just 0.5. Final over of the power play in this second innings.
Peter Ochen will be the bowling change. Spin momentarily being taken out of the attack. And Peter Ochen comes in from the forest end. Not controlling that shot, just an edge from London Timothy Mhanguzi. And they run quickly to pick up 2 runs. The Kitamba Sunrisers have lost an early wicket. Hamidu Munigwa falling in the first over. But somehow, London Timothy Mhanguzi and Robert Owili have made sure that they build back the innings. And they are still making sure that they pile up the runs to see the Kitamba Sunrisers cross that victory line.
First wicket falling in the second ball of the innings. A great rebuilding job between Owili and Mhanguzi. Mhanguzi has not had so much luck with the bat. Also, in the first innings, going for plenty in his 2 overs.
Just throws his blade all over. Peter Ochen going pace off and making sure that he gets it drift away from London Timothy Mhanguzi. I think the idea for Peter Ochen is to make sure that he doesn't concede a boundary in this over, because we've seen the first 5 overs looking to be somehow expensive from the spinners. So he will have to make sure that he makes the amendments. London Timothy making full access, but the push needs some more power for him to make sure that he penetrates that covers region for him to pick up a run in the over.
Perry parrying the ball to mid-off. Tongue twister out there for you, Ivan.
Tongue twisters. I think one of the problems I've had from when I was young is tongue rolling. There are some things that I know, but I can't pronounce them quite well, and it's something which is genetic.
You will not believe it, Ivan, but I had quite a very strong lisp, which also comes through sometimes while we are speaking. You don't usually completely overcome that speech problem, but Ochen looking to complete this over. 2 ugly shots in these 2 balls from Mhanguzi, trying to go for power but not stepping to the ball. That ball is just on the 4th stump, so he would be mindful not to give away his wicket.
His partner in Robert Owili will need to talk to him so that he adjusts his skill. London Timothy. Final ball. And a dot ball from Peter Ochen to end the over. Just 2 runs off Peter's first. And after 6 at the end of the power play, the score is 20 for a loss of 1 wicket.
The Royals, having breached the 3-figure mark, came in with renewed vigor, and you can see the attitude out there, quickly running back to their marks at the overchange. The fielding has been brilliant at times. And end of the power play, the Sunrisers picking up 20 runs, but losing 1 wicket. A very even power play, though you would argue that the Royals won that one, restricted the runs, and picked up a wicket.
In terms of comparing the power play scores, at the end of the power play in the first innings, the score was 32 for 1. And now the Kitamba Sunrisers have only 20 for a loss of 1 wicket. So it means somehow they are below where their partners were. But there are some of the replays in the game. That one was muscled for a maximum. First maximum that we saw in this run chase. Robert Owili taking on Peru Zombie. It's really a shot of power. We've been seeing the ball fly around. And now Peru Zombie will come to bowl his final.
On only 2 occasions, Ivan, have the teams breached the 50-over point in the power play for a full match. So usually starting slowly and just accelerating in the middle.
And I think it's okay to start slowly and then you accelerate in the middle. Because sometimes when you start and you go all guns blazing, you end up losing it out and failing in the chase. So you need to make sure that you balance your caution and precision, choices of shots, balance it with power to make sure that you can chase down the total.
Early wickets have usually seen us not completing the fully allotted overs. An opportunity for a stamping. Muhanguzi taking a walk down the pitch. Abdul Shakur Doka unable to collect and run out and stamp the man, but they pick up a bye.
Inside out shot. Power of Robert Owili. Just 1 bounce for 4 runs. Some bit of width there from Peru Zombie. And Obere Owili Robert pumps onto it.
Obere rising with that ball. Cuts it powerfully for a 1 bounce. Perry going for speed on that opportunity.
Should be wide, yes. Peru Zombie not putting it anywhere close into the arc of Robert Owili. Robert Owili has shown him that he has power to hit. So Peru Zombie is trying to make sure that he bowls wide of Owili. But that's much better.
That's the line within the wicket to wicket, giving no room to the batters to free their arms.
That is hit, but it gets elevation. Does it get enough distance? No, it goes all the way for a maximum. Edwin Nagaba was right underneath that one, but it went over his head for a maximum.
Right in the slot. Just go way beyond the reach of Edwin Nagaba at long off. An expensive over so far for Peru Zombie. And that run brings us to the completion of the 7th over. 35 runs for the loss of 1 for the Sunrisers.
Peru Zombie's quarter has come to an end. He picked up a wicket early in his first over, but he somehow managed to maintain that pressure by picking up more wickets. He's gone for many in the final over that he has bowled. Required run rate 5 every over. As Peter Ochen, who gave away 2 runs in his first over, returns with the ball to bowl the 8th over. 26 of 21 for Robert Owili and 6 of 19 for London Timothy Mhanguzi.
No ball indicated by umpire Reston Alumansi. Foot fault for Peter Ochen. And the free hit is indicated.
Chance for Robert Owili to free up his arms. Robert Owili, Peter Ochen, both part of that team that went in the Under-19 World Cup qualifiers last year in Lagos, the city of Nigeria. Free hit is hit, but not hit quite well, but it will run all the way to the boundary. It finds a vacant deep square leg area, and that races all the way, and that boundary brings up 40 runs for the Kitamba Sunrisers.
Swivels on that one quickly. Pass square leg. Long on and long off are out. Deep mid wicket move to deep square, fine leg, and third man for Peter Ochen.
Not very much control in that shot by Owili, but they run very quickly and pick up the second run. Owili is getting all the support that he needs from the dugout because he's putting up a show. He's looking to be so formidable with that 32 of 24, and he doesn't look like he will be stopping scoring the runs. He's looked poised for this interesting affair as he sees his team marching on.
There's been a quick acceleration by the Sunrisers in the scoring.
There was a fumble in the deep, and by Francis Ejoka, and a chance for 2 runs. That's the dugout for the Kitamba Sunrisers, giving the 2 batters at the crease an applause because clearly Robert Owili and Lana Timothy Mhanguzi are just making sure that they slowly kill the Nsonga Royals. There was an interest of LBW there by the bowler, sorry. But the umpire said no. Some of the other players will be playing later. Jonathan Nyiro right in your frame. Robert Ajuna, Katosi strikers who are coming on in the afternoon to complete their affair against the Senyi Warriors. Another whip there from Robert Owili for just a single.
It's been his go-to shot. The whip of the legs been quite productive for Robert Owili. Man looking in the mood for runs to keep his Sunrisers on track for their third victory in this tournament so far.
Final ball of the over from Peter Ochen. And he will have to ball it again as that strays down the leg for a wide. Peter Ochen bowled a very nice first over, giving away just 2 runs, but when he returned with the ball, he's been so generous. Started with a no ball. The free hit was punished for 4. Willie and then Timothy have taken doubles twice, a single. He's bowled a wide and he will have to bowl it again before it's a wrap up for the over. Deft touch there from Timothy Muhanguzi.
Look at some of the spectators out here to watch the action at Florida Cricket Oval. A partial shot as well of the scoreboard, as changes are plenty out there in the middle at the end of that over. 46 runs for the loss of 1 for the Kitamba Sunrisers. Run rate now has shot up to 5.75.
And it's healthy for the Kitamba. That's the boundary which was scored in the previous over. The boundary for off that free hit. Robert Oili showing some power and muscles. But the captain will now get the ball. Edwin Nagaba coming in to bowl. He has those balls that cramp the batters for room. So it starts with one angling in to Robert Owili. Nwagaba Edwin just making sure that he doesn't give anything easy. Goes for a booming drive, but he misses it completely, Robert Owili. And that goes past the wicket keeper, but no run still is taken. Another dot ball in the over. Good start for Edwin. Hit up. There was a chance to catch, but no, it fell in the vacant area. And we will be happy with the run.
Fortuitous for Robert Owili. Nwagaba having him in knots of the first 2 balls, but picks up that one.
Robert Owili finally taking the run. Now Edwin Nwagaba will be bowling to his teammate in London, Timothy Muhanguzi. These two both play for Mukono Development Cricket Club, so they know each other quite well. Played the opening game at this very ground where they lost to the Centurions.
Losing shape, Muhanguzi, head falling over, unable to connect on that ball.
Fall and hit down for another dot ball. Much better over there from Edwin Nwagaba. He's come on to reduce the leakage of the runs, and it's worked out for his side. End of the over. Scoreboard reads 47 for a loss of 1 after 9 overs.
There is a bowling change at the Forest end with Ethan Mitali taking the ball in his hand as Nwagaba continues to direct traffic. Some other changes. Sends a Jock Francis to backward point. Third man is in play. Long on and long off plus cow corner. The men at the boundary. Starts right on the money, Mitali, who usually takes the ball, but now coming as the third change. The required rate being just 5.45 for the Sunrisers to achieve victory. Slapped just past covers. Lazy fielding. Shows them pick up another to make that a double. Scoreboard keeps ticking steadily. Some homekeeping from umpire Rested Nalumansi. As we look at the first wicket, Hamid Munigwa highlights. Mitali stemming the flow of runs so far. The sun making a return, and this time with the vengeance blazing. Despairing efforts using his feet to prevent a run, but they pick up one. Mitali Ethan, formerly playing for SSC last year in the men's league, but has made the transfer to Mukono Development Cricket Team this year. A student at St. Cornelius Kalagala. A school just a few kilometers away from this oval. St. Cornelius Kalagala SS being part of Mukono cricket community. So is Mount St. Henry's Nangunga. Uganda Matters Sunday. Mount St. Mary's Namagunga. And Mukono Kings High School. 10 overs done and dusted in this second innings. 50 for the loss of 1. London Muhanguzi Timothy 6 in 25. Playing the support role to Robert Owiri, who has 39 in 34. Scoring just over 100 at the moment. Captain and leader of his men, Nwagaba Edwin, back with the ball from the Ginger Road end. Sends out deep mid wicket. Nwagaba, a man who has had a storied career, including playing for the national teams, the underage. But Muhanguzi takes on that one, and they run quick to pick up two. Unimpressed by the effort of the men in the deep, glares out at them. The call is to kole, meaning let's keep working hard out there in the middle. Flights one. And London Muhanguzi picks up another one to keep the scoreboard ticking for the Sunrisers. Smacked hard with it on offer, pulled over corner for the maximum. Robert Owidi, and he accelerates to 46. That one within his sights, and he dispatches that. Misses the very next one, bringing us to the end of the 11th over. 10 coming off that Nwagaba over, but the score is Kitamba Sunrisers 60 runs for the loss of 1. Very few runs now to get for the Sunrisers. "47 runs will see them home in the remaining 9 overs. Mitali Ethan continues from the forest end. And you can see the roles clearly defined between this batting pair. Muhanguzi playing the supporting role and Owidi the aggressor. Now at 46, just 4 runs away from a half century. Plays a deft touch, glances that off his pads, using the pace of the bowler to pick up 50. He raises his bat to the dugout, congratulated by his partner. Glances that one, fine. A battling 50. Some of his highlights, a maximum. And that milestone seems to have deflated the Royals. A silence over the oval, but they will need to keep going. This match is not yet done and dusted. Muhanguzi now into the action. Plays the bisector down straight to the ground between long off and long on. It is driving there for Owiri on match day number 5 of the SABULA T20 Cricket Challenge. Ethan Mitali makes inroads, bowls Muhanguzi, who was trying to get in on the action. Muhanguzi departs for a crafty 11, as we'll take another look. His feet nowhere near the pitch of the ball. And he will have to depart.
They wanted the wicket and somehow they got a wicket, releasing some pressure off. But not the wicket they wanted, because they really wanted to get that wicket of Robert Owili, who is on 52 of 40. The only breather for them is that they will have a new batter at the crease. So they will somehow be happy that they have gotten something. Metal Ethan finding something there for the Nsonga Royals. Amos Ahura is the new batter in, and Mahad Sechito at the back of a player of match performance has the ball in his hands. Starts with the loose one, and it is whipped away by Owili, who is seeing it at the size of a football. It goes down to the boundary. 4 runs as Mahad Sechito changes bowling ends. .72 runs on the board in quick time. Robert Owili, the man there showing the acceleration, bringing up a half century in no quick time. More 35 runs from 47 balls for the Kitamba Sunrisers pick up victory. That is hit through the cover area. Hit into the gap by Robert Owili. And back-to-back boundaries for him to start off this over. Widith in the offer. And the covers fielder would see that one just run to the boundaries. Nagaba Edwin and his troops of the Nsonga Royals will be hoping that they quickly get rid of Robert Owili, who is looking to be very, very fine. Hit and run right under the nose of the fielder. They take another run there very quickly. Amos Ahura opened the batting for Uganda under-19 during the under-19 World Cup in 2022 in the West Indies. Makes his way to the crease and gets off the mark with a double. A bit flighted by Mahad Sechito and too full for Amos to throw something onto it. Wanted to take the chance with one hand, half-hearted, and that runs to the fences. What could have been a catch turns into a boundary. Amos Ahura doesn't look like he will be stopping. Look at that one there, half-hearted. by Davis Wanyama at point, and it runs to the boundary. The Kitamba Sunrisers are showing that they need to chase this one in quick time. Leading edge. He had gotten him into the trap, but the chance is squandered away by the bowler. End of the over. And after 13 scoreboard reads, 24 for a loss, I beg your pardon, 83 for a loss of 2 wickets, 24 more to get in 42 balls with 8 wickets at hand. Edwin Nagaba now changing ends to try and make sure that he gets some new fortunes. Longer on, longer off, cow corner at the boundary for Robert Owili. More 24 in 42 needed for the Kitamba to pick up victory. Owili hits that one. You would hear it from the sound of the bat as it goes all the way for a maximum. Fine looking shaped, fine shape there from Robert Owili as that one goes all the way. Pressure already to the bowler. First ball has been hit for a maximum. Flick of the wrist, should be a single. Peru Zombie with work to do at longer on. The game already falling out of hands of the Nsonga Royals. They won the toss and opted to bat first, but the decision quickly backfiring for them as runs have been in full flow for the Kitamba Sunrisers during this run chase. Hit over the head of the field that covers. They are pushing quickly for 2. Comfortable double. And at the moment, the looks of the Nsonga Royals, they look to be dropping their shoulders. (93) now on board. More 14 for victory. What a show in this run chase. Robert Owili on 70 of 46, coming in at number 3 and just making sure that he carries his team forward. Another flick over the head of deep mid-wicket fielder and another boundary for Robert Owili. He is now on 74 of 47. Too much control, too much power. Quick use of the wrist there by Robert Owili as he brings up another boundary. Final ball of the over. Hit down the ground. Straight longer on. And just a single. With that one run, will mark the end of the over. And after 14 overs, the score is 98 for a loss of 2 wickets. Stoke Francis will now come with the ball. His ball gone over in the game and it has gone for just 3 runs. But he comes when required is just a single digit. Right arm over. Full toss and played through the covers. It goes all the way to the boundary past extra cover. Amos Ahura welcoming him back into the attack with that boundary. And that boundary also brings up 100 runs for the Kitamba Sunrisers. Very full there to the blade of Robert Owili. Plays it through covers and makes sure that he brings up another boundary for him in the innings. It's been an interesting run chase. Robert Owili making sure that he carries his bat throughout the entire innings. Highest individual score in the tournament, 79 of 49. Run out chance is missed. In the bowler's end, the fielder covers taking his time with the ball. Catch is taken. Robert Owili didn't manage to get that one away from him. And Davis Wanyama at covers takes the catch. The Kitamba Sunrisers lose the 3rd wicket, but the damage already done by Robert Owili. That's the catch there at covers that saw Robert Owili depart. But damage has already been made. Robert Owili departs with 79 of 51, but what a show he's displayed here. Some of the highlights that we saw in the game. What a show from Robert Owili. He's been muscling the ball all over the park. And even though he departs, his side is a hit away from picking up victory. His side needs just 5 runs to pick up the win. Kadu Peter is the new batter in. 5 runs required for victory. Clearly the victory is in sight for the Kitamba Sunrisers. Kadu Peter, wicket-keeper batter, replacing another wicket-keeper batter. And he comes in to try and make sure that he gets the remaining 5 runs for the Kitamba Royals to pick up victory today. Straight to the field that covers. There is a chance of a run out. Is it completed? Yes. Hit and run from Peter Kadu. Nowhere to go for him. There was a field that covers. Risky venture. Kadu Peter comes and Kadu Peter goes. Fumbled by the field that covers, but good comeback there for the young man, making that recovery and made sure that he completes that run out. Abdul Aziz Tandia will now make his way to the crease. More 5 runs needed for victory. 2 wickets falling in quick succession. Robert Owili caught at covers. Peter Kadu ran out. But still the victory in sight for the Kitamba Sunrisers. Abdulaziz Tandia leaves that one alone because he knows victory is already in sight. For his side, they need just 5 runs to seal the win. Another dot ball there for Francis Ejok. A good over, but it might be just a matter of time. 15 overs gone and the scoreboard reads 102 for a loss of 4. Just 5 runs is still needed by the Kitamba Sunrisers to complete a win here in the morning game of the match day number 5 of the SABULA Cricket Challenge T20. Ochen Peter will now return for his 3rd over. His first over went for 2 runs. His second went for 11. And now he returns to bowl the 16th. Starts with the full one. And that's worked away by Amos Ahura backward of the square. Too full. Wrong line, missed line, borderline. And Amos Ahura keeps the scores level here at Florida Cricket Oval. Just one more run for victory. Wide, and that's the winning run for the Kitamba Sunrisers as they complete a 6 wickets victory here at Florida Cricket Oval. The chase for the Kitamba Sunrisers got off a brisk from the very first ball. The Nsonga won the toss and opted to bat first, but the decision backfired as they didn't put so many runs. They scored 106 for 7 in 20 overs. Edwin Nagaba led his charges, 26 of 31. 21 of 31 for Doka Abdu Shakul. A led 15 of 10 for Peru Zombie and 14 of 13 for Peter Ochen. A fofa from Hamidu Munyugwa didn't allow many partnerships to keep growing. 1 wicket apiece for Raymond Kagara and Giovanni Komagom, and in response, the Nsonga Warriors got the first wicket on the second ball of the second innings, dismissing Hamidu Munyugwa for a duck. Balanda Timothy Mwanguzi came on and posted 11 of 31. Whereas it was paid, it was Robert Owiri, the man in the moment, scoring 79 of 51 and seeing his team cross the victory line. 1 wicket apiece for Peru was over Francis Ejok and Ethan Mitali. But all these not sufficient to give the Songare's victory. In the end, the Kitamba Sunrisers have carried the day, having won by 6 wickets. Action continues, and later on at 2 p.m. we will have a match between the Senyi Warriors and the Katosi Strikers. My name is Evan Cyprian here in the comms, and my co-commentator Solomon Luwamachigozi will come to you shortly with the post-match presentation. So make sure that you keep on the channel to hear the reactions from the 2 captains. All the best.
Good afternoon to every one of you. In this encounter between the Nsonga Royals and the Kitamba Sunrisers, both teams coming off victories in their previous encounters. But today, the Sunrisers have managed to win by 6 wickets. And I will speak to the captains of the team. First, Edwin Nagaba. Commiserations to you. You won the toss, elected to bat, but I don't think you put on sufficient runs.
Yeah, actually, we fell short during, I think, the power play. We didn't utilize it very well. So if we had scored so many runs in the power play, we would have at least had some big score. It was a small score, though we tried our best to reach the 15th over. Yeah, had luck.
You started off quite well in the power play, restricting the Sunrisers to below 20 in the first 3 overs, but I think they ran away from you.
Yeah, actually, I think the bowlers tried to bowl so many things. Yet at the start, we had a plan because it wanted to rain, so we had counted it. At least if we get moderate balls within the power play, then it would be good. But anyway.
Okay. Hard luck to you, and I will speak to Ahura Amos, winning captain. You were asked to bowl in the beginning.
Yeah, that was didn't go to our side. We wanted also to bat first, but kudos, we had to take our chances. Ball good lines, tight. They had to come. They had to come hard in the power play, but we managed to contain it and restrict them to a low score. So kudos to my bowling side. Teams were really tough in the field, so it's very good to see.
Definitely maintaining form, coming off 2 victories, now making this the 3rd one in the tournament.
Yeah, our camp is good moods, so those first wins gave us a good momentum, so we hope to keep it like that. So
Thank you, Amos, and congratulations. I will speak to the man of the match award. I will call upon Trevor Chanja, umpire, to present the man of the match award, which goes to Owili Robert of the Sunrisers. 79 runs in 59 balls. And I'll have a word. Congratulations, Robert. You've been meaning to have such an innings in this tournament. Today clicking.
I think when I came in for the first innings, I came in with a positive mindset of winning. And the second innings, as well as we were chasing the runs, I came in with a positive mindset.
The power play didn't go so well for you guys. You had 30 in 6, and then you stepped on the gas.
Actually, it becomes difficult playing spin when spinners are using the new ball. It skids a lot, so it gave us some difficulty.
But you managed to triumph, only falling in the last with few runs required.
Yeah. Actually, we did our best.
Congratulations once again to you. You've been awarded man of match. Yeah. And that is it right from the center here. Coming up is the match number 10 between the Blasters and the Warriors.